Okay, Florida Explorer here. We're at a old cemetery in Tampa. Not the oldest or anything, but certainly an old one. It's not hidden or lost or abandoned even. It's just a cemetery. But it is old. The burials go all the way from the mid to late 19th century right up to the early part of the 21st century. I'm not sure what it's called or what the name of it is. It's on the corner of Kennedy and Dale Mabry, basically. Did buy it 1,000 times, but I never stopped in. I always wanted to, just never had the chance to. It's someplace it's a destination place. It's not right around the corner from anything where I work or where I live or whatever. But anyway, had a chance to stop here today, so thought we would. Obviously, it's a beautiful old southern cemetery, very heavily traveled. There is a historical significance to this, and there used to be a placard out front, and I don't see it out there anymore. I'm just going to read off of that. I didn't do any research at all on this before I came, simply because I just happened to have the opportunity to see it today. So anyway, but again, it's not abandoned. But what I think makes it unique, or at least for me, is that it's directly adjacent to a very small national cemetery. There's obviously the tombstones over here that mark, this is American Legion Hall, that mark, or that I should say are the markings of a national cemetery. And when you have these kinds of same-shaped tombstones lined perfectly together, perfectly in line, that is one of the hallmarks of a national burial place for servicemen and women. So that's what this is. And again, it's one of the things I found compelling about it, because I've never seen a national cemetery completely adjacent with no separation of any distance at all between a civilian cemetery, in which also there are servicemen, as you normally find in a civilian cemetery, a quote-unquote civilian cemetery. But this right here, where we're at now, is the American Legion National Cemetery portion of it, and this is strictly for servicemen and women. I don't see any Civil War people in here, but I haven't really gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. But there's World War II on up. World War I on up. And that's what that big obelisk in the back there is dedicated to, the First World War servicemen and women in the First World War. Well, more men, I guess, at that point, because they weren't allowing women into the armed forces at that time as readily as they do now. Certainly no one serving in combat. Anyway, so that is, as they say, that. I photographed this some. I'll continue to photograph it some more, but I just found it interesting from that standpoint, that I've never been here, and it is a national cemetery right next to a civilian cemetery. It's interesting to that extent, and it's also very small. There's obviously no more servicemen burials here. I don't see any place where they could fit anyone else. I think they're pretty much tapped out in terms of space. So that's another thing that makes it unique. St. Augustine is another one that comes to mind, and that is similar in that respect, to the extent that they're not putting anyone else in there, interring anyone else. Whereas, of course, in Florida National Cemetery up near Bushnell, they have just endless space almost up there. So, and I believe that they even have their space in Arlington that they're still interring people. So that makes this place unique in that regard. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.